Hey guys, and welcome back to the Daily Trend, where we guide traders to a more technical approach on the markets utilizing chart analysis to become consistent and profitable. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do, and if you are enjoying the content, please give us a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. Hope everyone's doing well. Another wild week in the sector with lots of opportunities and headlines. We had Congress passing the Farm Bill and sending it to Trump for final approval. With him expected to sign it next week. So I expect that to be a huge win for CBD and hemp companies going forward. And we still just have the looming allegations on APHA. They still haven't responded. So they said that they were going to respond on Wednesday. They didn't. They followed up with another just statement saying that they are going to issue the rebuttal as soon as possible after their internal review. So we'll see how that plays out on their side. And then one thing I recommend is just check out the Thursday interview of Grego on BNN, just continuing to speak out, confirming the stance, playing the short seller game. Something to check out. And yeah, if you haven't already seen it, go on BNN Bloomberg and definitely check out that Grego interview talking about APHA. But let's get into the technicals, and today we'll take a look at weed, APHA, ACB, and also we had someone request to have hemp analyzed as well, so we'll take a look at hemp as well for all players and investors that are looking to trade hemp. We'll take a look at that and see what we can expect for the following weeks. So looking at Canopy, again, we haven't had really a ton of movement as far as any indication that we're going to break this sideways action. We had a lot of in a lot of my previous videos, I mentioned that we are in this sideways action, and then we're essentially in a trading zone that we haven't seemed to break on either side. We broke it to the downside a bit when we broke that $40 support, the psychological support, and had the downside. We were in a wedge formation just prior to this breakdown, which I also spoke about in my previous video. We did break down quite a bit from our high of 46.42 to find our new low at 36.36. So that was about, let's give or take, so we'll say that's about a 20% move to the downside. So major move to the downside, and would have been great if you had got in at this low. And I talked about this gap. If we can just see all the way back here, I mentioned this gap as well that we didn't fill. So now it's filled, and even though it happened months later, the gap did fill. So that's something to note as far as gaps filling or not. But essentially, after we had that happen, we're getting quite oversold, getting close to that oversold range on the RSI. We found our new low, and we bounced to create another lower high at 44.86. And now, really we're just getting into this, another wedge formation. And if this low holds at 39.80, I do expect a bounce and a possible retest of this level at $46 psychologically. And this is a level that I spoke about in many of my other previous videos, that this is really going to be the major level for Canopy to give you an indication if we are going to go back to the upside heading into the new year, or if we're just going to continue to trade sideways within this trading zone. And this is a $10 trading zone, so it's still got a little bit of spread to go through up and down. But essentially, if we break this low of 36.36, then it's just going to be a continuation of this entire downtrend that we've been in. We've obviously had our bounces here and there, and the bounces are getting smaller and smaller, which is also something to note. And really, this is going to be the range that's going to really determine, if we're going to go towards the upside, or if we're just going to continue to break down before we find some support, and then just bounce, and then hopefully reverse the trend on Canopy growth. So as far as just what to expect for the following week, if we can hold the low of 39.80 on the daily, and bounce off of this with some bullish momentum, then I do expect us to retest this resistance of 45.94, making it just $46 psychologically. And if we can break that, that will be a good sign for the bulls, and then we'll get into this trading zone, and then I expect a retest to see if we can hold this as support if we can break it. And just another clear resistance point will be the 44.86, which is our previous lower high, which is another level to watch out for. And then as far as support is concerned, we have support here at $40 psychological on the daily, and then we can look to just the shorter time frames to see other support levels. So we'll also have the low here. You can say again $40, $39.80, whichever way you want to look at it as a support level. We had a couple touches here, so I would say $39.80, $40 psychological again as your support level to hold. With really the next clear support really at 36.36. So this is going to be a key level for Canopy going forward. If we can hold this level and kind of hold this as our new higher low and bounce out to retest this, that'll be a good sign. If we break this, then I expect a possible retest of this low of 36.36, which will be interesting to see how that plays out for weed. Now, as far as APHA is concerned, kind of similar situation, but not really. We have been trading a little bit sideways since our bounce, and we've kind of been in this small zone here between 875 and 660. We bounced off of 480 after the bullish 3 gap down reversal with a huge move back up to the upside before we found a new high at 875. We found another low here at 704, found another lower high at 840, and now we're double bottoming here looking for a bounce back to the upside. Now this is just another lower high here at 839, so this is again similar to Canopy, just another level before breaking this lower high here set at 875. So again, if we want to get back to the upside, we'll want to break these two levels and get above this zone and get in a new trading zone to show us that the bulls are going to take advantage of this and get back towards the upside and possibly reverse. But this is again all pending how APHA responds, how the market responds. So we'll see how that plays out. And then as far as support is concerned, will be the low on the daily at 660, and then just looking at short-term levels on the hourly, you can see after we had our bounce at that 480 level, we had a nice move back to the upside, hit our high. Now we're in a higher low, and then we have our lower high here, the double bottom. So now I expect this to bounce. We're getting in this tightening hourly range here, and we do have an inside bar to be watching. Really a break of 753 to the upside will be a great sign with bullish momentum before we test this 779 level and get to the other resistance points at the top, or a break of the low of 726 support. That'll indicate some bearish momentum towards the downside, and we'll see if we can hold support at 660 and continue to maintain this trend. But typically on the hourly here, it's going a little bit sideways, and really the key level is 779 on the hourly. If we can break that, that'll maintain our momentum, and the inside bar will be a good indicator to watch out for a possible entry with your stop really below this level here at 726. Now we'll look at ACB really quick. So as far as ACB is concerned, since we found our low at 621, again we've bounced, created a new high at 831, but again just another lower high in comparison to 846, which was our previous lower high. It's a little bit closer than some of the other names, but again, another just key level to watch out for to really give you an indicator that we are heading to the upside. You know, and like Canopy, ACB has been in a little bit of downwards, sideways action, really within this range here of 621 and 846. And since that high was set, we had our bearish momentum to the downside. We had a few couple bounces with lower highs and lower lows, nothing really crazy. And then since we've had this nice bounce,
Now we're just looking for this higher low to hold, and with a possible retest of this 846 level, similar to the other names. They need to all retest that previous lower high. For ACB's case, it was set on the 21st, and then if we can break this lower high, that'll be a good indication, and then bulls will want to hold that as support going forward before we potentially get in this trading zone here. But again, like I said, if bulls do want to maintain this momentum, and just kind of, this kind of also looks kind of like a bullish flag as well, so that's also something to point out. And if we can hold the low of 720 and bounce, I expect a retest of the next resistance point set on Friday at 794 and 846 as the next two levels of resistance to watch out for. If we can't hold this low on the daily of 720, I do expect a further downside break. And we can see here if we can find some other quick support levels as far as this is concerned. So you can see here we've had this bullish momentum on the hourly, big move to the upside. We topped out a couple times at 829 here, and now we're trying to hold this low at 720. We hit a new high at 797, so we have the low, lower high, and then now we're trying to get either a higher high or another lower high in comparison to this before, again, possibly retesting that 846. So as far as, again, support is concerned, we got 720. You can also look at this low here at 773, or sorry, 770 as the next level, and also 720, and then also you can look at 678 as the next levels of support to be watching out for ACB. So again, what we want to do is hold the low. Sorry, my computer is freezing up a little bit. My laptop is battery. So as long as we hold the low of 720 and continue our upside move, that'll be a great sign for the bulls, with again a possible retest of these two next resistance levels at 794 and 846. Okay, and now let's just take a look at our request for hemp. Okay, so we'll look at hemp here on the TSX. So again, looking at hemp, of course, we, prior to the farm bill and everything, we've had this huge move breaking down just like all the other major names, kind of correlating with this huge downside moves on the daily. Again, we've had our lower highs and lower lows set. We've had a few bounces here and there, nothing major. But of course now with the farm bill being sent to Trump for final approval and his signature, obviously this is now getting priced into the market, and there's a lot of hype behind it. And of course, with all the hype and all the news relating to this, we've had some nice upside moves with some huge bullish momentum. You can just see the volume, huge spikes to the upside. We haven't kind of seen that kind of momentum really since, you can look all the way back here on May when we had over 2 million traded. Versus here when we had again 1.8, so it wasn't even nearly as high, but still close enough. And we just haven't had that kind of volume in a long time. And and obviously everyone's gonna have their reasons, but again, as far as technical analysis is concerned, since we've found our new low here at 80 cents, we've continued to bounce up before we found our new high at 173. And we're creating also a bullish flag on this particular name as well on the daily. Now you can see, I'll just draw it out for you guys here so you can just kind of see how it looks like. So you see here, you got one, and you go here like that, and then you can even go here like this. So now it's not exactly a perfect move just because these candles are very rangy, but at the end of the day, this does look like a bullish flag to me. So if bulls want to hold the low here at 123 and continue the upside move with a possible retest of the previous high at this resistance point at 171, that will be a good sign for the bulls. I do expect that, depending on when we have the signature by Trump. I don't expect it to happen on Monday, possibly maybe in the middle of the week, the end of the week. but I expect it to happen sometime in the middle of the week. Probably they won't release it until after market hours. But again, we'll see how it plays out. If it does get released during market hours, I do expect to sell on the news since a lot of this is priced in. So that's something to keep to be aware of. And again, like I said, if we can hold the low here of 122, I do expect a bounce with a possible retest of the 171 level. If we can't hold this low, the next support level we can take a look at is, I can see support here at 115 and then $1 psychologically. And as far as the short term is concerned, you can see we've had the huge spike and we're kind of forming what looks to be a bullish flag here. So again, if we can hold this low at 122, we found another high at 147, creating a lower high in comparison to 171. Now we've created a higher low on the hourly at 132. Now if we can hold this level, which is also an important level to watch out for on the hourly, and continue to break the high of 148, I do expect more bullish momentum, and then again that possible retest of the 171. So that's something also to be watching on the hourly, is the hold of this 132 level, and then a possible bounce with the break of 148 and a possible move to the upside of 171. And then again, support here at 122, and then 115 we talked about, and then $1 psychologically to watch out for next week. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, please give us a like. And if you are enjoying the content, please do subscribe. Thank you so much for your support. Have yourself an awesome weekend and take care.